Hello everyone, my name is Amol Nirgudkar. I'm CEO at Patient Prism, and I'm here at DEO's Fall Summit titled Doubling Down. Doubling Down, I guess doubling dental, not that I'm doubling down on dental, but it might as well be doubling down on dental. I'm here with McKenzie Fagan, who is one of my favorite people in this industry. She is the strategic manager at Henry Schein One, and helps DSOs around the country really solve some of the problems that they face in terms of looking at technology and using it in a way that helps the dental support organizations as well as the offices to really perform at their best, right? McKenzie, thank you for coming.
Happy to be here.
The question I have, I mean, I've been friends with many at Henry Schein Dental and Henry Schein One, and I've become very close friends with a lot of them. And I see this big evolution of Henry Schein One since you guys started about 2 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago almost, where you have moved the business model to really supporting dental offices like you've never supported before. Talk to us about what that evolution has been, and where are you today and where are you going in 2022?
More than happy to. And it's been a really fun journey at Henry Schein One, because just like DSOs, they can go through acquisition or de novo. Same with Henry Schein One, and we've done both. We've have a proven track record of innovation, and started building our own platform systems, but then also saw where maybe we didn't have the best system. We went out there and partnered or acquired a phenomenal company like Jarvis Analytics.
Absolutely.
Is now a part of the Henry Schein One family. And it's been a really fun evolution, as you said, to see how just a software company can now become this conglomerate that offers services in all different aspects, not just practice management system, not just patient engagement, not just revenue cycle services, but now even on the hardware IT side, protecting DSOs from cybersecurity attacks and all those scary things that we don't want to talk about, but
Right.
are really real,
Right.
and are happening all the time. So Henry Schein One is now really offered a full suite of solutions to be able to help DSOs in whatever they need. Maybe they don't need every single service, but we're there as that partner to help them and offer those solutions that make sense for them.
But it does make sense to kind of have an integrated approach to this, right? Because one of the challenges that I see as a technology guy, right, is that the dental practices or the DSOs, they're kind of frustrated with, there's so many solutions out there, and sometimes they don't talk to each other that well.
Absolutely.
And somehow, and when you have so many, then what happens is you just end up having 10 different solutions from 10 different people, and if they don't talk, you just don't end up using them, right? And obviously, as we know, dental offices should spend most of the time dealing with patients and not with things that don't really add value. And I think that's what you guys are doing, right? I think you're bringing it all together so that it works as one magical piece, where all systems talk to other systems, to this system, and then that saves time, right? Saving
Absolutely.
time is the scarcest commodity. What efforts are you guys doing? Obviously, we're aware of all the technologies that you guys have acquired and partnered with Jarvis and Lighthouse in the past, and there's so many things. What are you guys doing at the top level to bring this all together so that they will all one day just talk to each other?
Great question. So you're exactly right. It's increase efficiency and reduce cost, right? The more vendors you have, the more you're probably paying individually for each one, and you probably have overlaps of services.
Absolutely.
Right? Some offer something similar, but not quite the same as another, and it's just not efficient. Also, when you've got 8 different support platforms that you're calling when your internet's out,
Absolutely.
or whatever the basics are, it just becomes troublesome, and just time is money, right? You're wasting time
Absolutely.
negotiating or working with all these different vendors. But to answer your question specifically, what we're doing really is, now that we've acquired or developed all of these incredible companies, and it's not just the Jarvis and the Lighthouse that are in the news. We also have RCI, which is our real cloud imaging product that is now being embedded into our practice management systems.
That's fantastic, yeah.
So what that means, this is just a real example for you, we're now taking what's been a very prominent imaging solution and building it directly into the practice management system.
Absolutely.
So even when you go to acquire an image based off of any scanner or any sensor that you have, because we can be hardware agnostic on the cloud,
right,
you can acquire that image and it's automatically going to post onto that patient's ledger.
Wow.
So nothing falls through the cracks between the back office and the front office that an image was taken. And it's that little step that seems so simple, but has never been done.
And the number of images you take, and you multiply the number of offices you have, and the time savings, it's monumental.
Absolutely.
You're creating hours and hours and hours and hours of extra time to focus on what's most important. Again, the patient, right?
Exactly.
That's why I feel technology is going to really shape and change our industry, because it's going to really allow dental practices to focus on the most important thing, which is patient care, while the things that don't need a human being or that can save time are going to be accomplished through these integrated platforms, which Henry Schein is becoming.
Absolutely.
And you talked about earlier, before we started the interview, about a common platform. What do you mean by a common platform?
What I more mean is going back to all the different types of software vendors that you might work with. It's really advantageous for groups to be on one common practice management system.
Agreed.
And that can be for a multitude of reasons. In years past, I think many DSOs have looked at the ideas of centralization, meaning that means centralizing your billing operations. Maybe it means a call center.
Correct.
Maybe it means you're just centralizing your actual management system with a physical location. However, I think COVID kind of changed our approach to that, meaning there's still a lot of great elements to centralizing, but what we're seeing in this space now is less centralizing to an actual space and more talking about standardizing their care. So as a DSO or a DLO or whatever they're called today, DPO, whatever they're called today, you can offer the best quality care for your practices. And when I say care, I'm actually not referring to the clinical side. They're the ones that should be handling clinical.
Right.
But you as a DSO now can go and support them that much faster because all of your locations are on one common practice management system. Hopefully that has integrated imaging solutions, patient engagement, texting, email,
analytics,
claims management services,
all that stuff.
analytics, right? And that's really what we're hoping to build and are continuing to build at Henry Schein One, is a platform that can offer these services in one place on the cloud or whatever, however you're set up, to make the DSO successful, which will therefore make each practice successful.
It's almost like a single source of truth.
Absolutely.
Right? Here you are, because it's hard to find truth in so many places. And by the time you have no time to find it. One of the big areas right now that we're looking at across the country is the threat from cybersecurity. Right? We're seeing in the news, sometimes not in the news, of dental practices being attacked through ransomware, malware, all sorts of things. And that's only going to increase because that's the future of crime. People are not going to vandalize banks anymore. They're going to vandalize your offices remotely from God knows what part of the world. But what are you guys doing in terms of technology to really help dental practices deal with this real threat that's only going to multiply over the next few years?
It's so common, and it's happening right under our noses. I just earlier spoke to an 8-location group. They've actually acquired 11 practices and combined a few of the offices. They just had a ransomware attack to where their office was down for 1 full week.
Oh my goodness.
1 full week, and they ended up paying the $50,000 for the ransomware. So to talk about what we're doing, I truly believe that if you're going to move to one centralized management system, there has to be trust. The only way to build that trust is through years and years of relationships, working together and understanding how they deal with problems. And we're taking this problem dead on. We actually just hired a new Chief Technology Officer, Alan Rencher, who I believe you've met, who's phenomenal and has years of experience in this exact space. And we're going through all sorts of efforts to become SOC 2 certified, Type 1 and Type 2, and High Trust certified. Absolutely. If you as a DSO owner are not familiar with those terms, I highly recommend you look into them.
Absolutely.
Because it's not a problem until it happens to you. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
It's a matter of when. How does migrating to a cloud-based system like Ascend help you not only achieve that common platform idea, but does it also help you in cybersecurity?
Great point. It's twofold, right? You're helping your practices becoming more efficient in terms of operations, but then on the back end, your IT team is more supported than they've ever been before.
Right.
If you're going to rely on servers in your physical office, or maybe even in a remote data center, think about this. You now have a threat from your internal employees.
Correct.
We don't want to admit that. We love our people, but they are people at the end of the day, and there's
Right.
two sides to people, unfortunately. They have access to information that you may or may not be able to control. They could put in a USB in the back of a computer, plug in anything, take it out, and you would have no idea, right? It's happening all the time. So there's that threat that's right in front of our face. And then there's also, like you said, the ones that are attacking us from remote places.
That's right.
This 8-location group I was talking about had local servers.
Wow.
They were shut down, had no access to anything. There's no redundancy. They have that one server in that practice. Thankfully, they have moved to the cloud,
That's nice.
which is very good to hear. But in the cloud, they're now supported by a different type of infrastructure that's going to be protecting their data. So for us at Henry Schein One, our Ascend product is stored on AWS, so on the highest level of security on the cloud. But now you have protection from us to make sure that your data is secure.
Right.
You can't be logged out because there's redundancy in all different areas around even the US to make sure that your backups are protected, your information is protected, and you will always have access to that information. That level of security is what helps CEOs sleep at night.
Absolutely.
Knowing that that information is there, protected, and backed by a very large company like Henry Schein.
I think a lot of people don't talk about this stuff until it becomes a problem, right? And it's not about if, it's just when. But what I'm intrigued by is how Ascend is evolving into a platform that truly is unifying all these systems together. Security, practice management, analytics, the phones. I think there's something happening with the phones as well. There's a whole host of things that's coming together in this seamless cloud-based platform that could potentially literally transform the way dental practices do business. How does that vision come about? Is 2022 the year of the big collaboration, integration, where Ascend, the Ascend ecosystem becomes almost like a must-have?
I hope that it's already happened, one, and two, I hope that it's every year. We go on to the next thing. So to rewind, when we created Ascend, yes, it has Dentrix in the name. However, we created it completely from the ground up. Dentrix has been successful since the early
Absolutely.
90s, right? It was the first actual practice management off of paper. But we also know that it wasn't the best. There were some things that it didn't do well. So that's why when we created Dentrix Ascend, we said we need to reimagine ourselves. We moved from the original balance forward accounting standard onto line item accounting standard. So now our practices can be much more efficient and actually pay their providers appropriately and accurately.
Absolutely.
Very, very important common task that really wasn't happening very well in regular Dentrix, and now it's happening in Ascend. So your question is, what's happening with Ascend? It's always going to be evolving. Now that we're on a cloud-based system, we can do updates every 2 to 3 weeks, rather than in Dentrix, you go from G5 to G6 every year and a half and shut down the office, right?
That's right.
That way of thinking is going to be erased from this whole community. And I think that's going to now become a common standard. So to your point, when is Ascend going to become the end-all practice management system? I think it is already. We just need the mindset of this group and this culture to understand the ramifications of not moving to a trusted source like Dentrix Ascend.
It is the most perfect answer anybody can give, because you're right, right? There's no such thing as a static system. It's an evolutionary product, right? And but the fact that the mindset is in the right place, that hey, we're not perfect, but we're going to continue becoming perfect. And in software, you just can't be, right? There's always something to it. It's like a building out. It's never perfect. You keep perfecting it and perfecting and perfecting it. But one of the things I see with Ascend and the Henry Schein One platform is this desire to really unify everything and that the dental practice needs to really have them achieve whatever they want to achieve. And it's a fantastic transformation that I've seen all my years in dentistry, when I started 20 years ago, yes, it was just Dentrix, whatever that was at the time. But to be able to see these updates happening almost on a 2-week sprint cycle, it's fascinating. And it's going to really transform our industry. And I'm really, really excited to see what you guys do. And thank you for supporting us throughout our journey. And I appreciate you and the entire team at Henry Schein One that's been absolutely abundant and kind to our team over the years. So we appreciate what you guys do in dentistry, and I look forward to just collaborating and discussing in ways to improve this industry and make it grow to what its fullest potential is. Thank you, McKenzie.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.